Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Eastern Lariat podcast, your show for news, notes, reviews, and opinions on the world of Japanese pro wrestling here on cagematch.net. I am your host, Striga, and I am, of course, joined by Dylan. And Dylan, this is going to be another show that we will look back at some of the shows that happened in September, at the end of September, and we're also going to look forward to some of the stuff that's coming up in mid-October. So we're really looking forward to getting into the mix with you again.
It's great to have you back. It's been a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
Our last episode was very well received that we had, number 310. Got some big ratings on YouTube. Also, I appreciated the praise for my graphics that I've been making lately on YouTube, which I have taken a step up. It's not too different from what I was doing before, but I've added new colors into things. And so, I've color coded the YouTube uploads now with the graphics I've made. So that adds a little bit of a good wrinkle to it. So thank you to those who said nice things to that. Thank you to everybody who listened to the shows I did while you were gone, Strig, including the Gaia Girls 25th anniversary show.
Still have to listen to that.
It's it goes through the entire movie, me and Nello, and he gives a lot of filmmaker stuff, knowledge and stuff that I wouldn't have as much as he would. I would have wrestling stuff maybe, but as he heads on to do his nationwide tour to promote his new movie coming up. So he took the time out for that, and that was very cool. He's also made a guest appearance on the Emerald Flow show with Dr. Jonathan and Gerard, and we talked about the N1 final. It honestly was like kind of a direct sequel to our last episode, where we ended things so negatively on our show. That's the comments we got in the last episode too, was like, man, this All Japan stuff sounds so depressing on there. And it's not our fault that the company was so bad during the Odo tournament, in all fairness. And I don't think they meant it that way, but still, I definitely got the sense that nobody was very happy with the tournaments, the N1 or the Odo. But on the Flow show, Dr. Jonathan, he kind of brought me back from the brink of darkness and despair as he got ready for his new book to release. So he's really doing big things and helped us both, I think. And we had a really fun talk on that show as well. So if anybody wants to check that out. But now we are back to our normal, miserable, depressing, and sad selves to talk about the terrible world of Japanese pro wrestling. But no, it's not that bad, actually. Actually, now that I think about it, we have some good stuff to talk about today, unlike last week. So it should be good.
It should be good, and colors, Dylan, colors is a good topic to go with to make the transition to pro wrestling, because there is someone who is leaving the green color behind. Well, at least for now, we know that Go Shiozaki is leaving Pro Wrestling Noah, and that came with a very short statement from the Noah side that came at the end of September, just like I think one day actually before his contract would be running out, is that he would just be leaving the company, and that was it basically. And Go Shiozaki then went to Tokyo Sports to give an interview and to share his thoughts about why he left and how that all came about. And I'm going to quote some of this interview here. So the most important one is that he is not retiring. He just needs to find the next ring to fight in, is what he said. It's a sudden announcement, and he's not sure if it will confuse the fans or make them think, but I hope that they'll look forward to the future. And he was asked if he has any regrets about the decision. He said that he left Noah, went to All Japan, left again, rejoined Noah, and now he's leaving again. And he said he's sure there will be a lot of things said, and he's prepared for that. However, there are probably some people who are feeling frustrated, anxious, or confused about what happened. Yes, Atsushi Kotoge, for example. In the ring, he wants to show a fight that will blow that away. And some people, I think the aforementioned Atsushi Kotoge was one of them, told him not to quit Pro Wrestling Noah and stay. But his decision, he said, there were things that I couldn't compromise on, and I just couldn't give in. What that was, he's not going to say, not something that he wants to talk about, and he tends to show his true self in the ring again. He's really grateful for anyone at Noah, and he thinks that fighting in a different ring will be a way to repay them in Noah, but he still doesn't know what is next for him, Dylan. So, first of all, how did you take Go Shiozaki leaving Pro Wrestling Noah, and what do you think could be next for him?
Him leaving, I think the way it was handled was surprising, just because it seems so bitter. Like there's been nothing but negative comments from the Noah roster. Marufuji's especially pretty much said he's not coming back a third time. Like, was more or less his comment. He won't put the Noah jersey on him again. Then Kotoge even said in his promo on the last show was that I'm not going to talk about the guy who left forever. So it seems like there are a lot of hurt feelings. And as we know in wrestling, sometimes time can heal all wounds. I think that's the hope we have for these sorts of situations. But this was pretty, not good. Like, this leaving, even compared to the last time. The last time they had an easy kind of excuse to leave with the Kobashi situation, 13 years ago. So he was leaving with 4 different guys, on his back, not just him alone. This is something, like you said, we don't know for sure, but to be honest, it's actually not that surprising to me that he left, because him being unhappy at Noah was basically an open secret the last couple of years. And, once they gave him those limit break shows, they kind of split off Monday Magic for the Nosawa camp and limit break for the Go camp. They were trying to keep these people appeased and keep peace in the house. Like, that's pretty clear. That's what happened. And again, these were rumors going back 2 years now that Go wanted out and wasn't happy with how the direction of the company was going. Even in his return from injury, he more or less said, I really don't want to wrestle like this version of Noah. I want to wrestle like the Golden Age and make fans see what I saw 20 years ago. So that kind of tells you he doesn't think much of this current Noah regime in terms of wrestling, which, some can say he's wrong, some can say he's right. This is all subjective, of course, but if you ask me, I think that he probably had a lot of good points that he probably made. And on top of it, watching those limit break shows, I know he had a lot of good points to make that they helped put together, that he was a big part of putting together. So, it's sad that he's leaving it so unceremoniously. Like you said, it was just, the company just gave a short statement. Marufuji got pissed on Twitter afterwards, as he seems to do a lot these days. That's kind of his thing.
Isn't he always pissed?
Well, he's mad at somebody. This last month hasn't been his best run. The last 2 months, really. He's gotten a lot of not great coverage with the Kenta match, first of all, in August.
And then the Ozawa match. Then his statement on Go leaving.
Oh, yeah.
Not a good track record for the guy. That should be representing the company in a much better way, actually.
Yeah, and again, sad, and other people were not happy with this. Some people's feelings may have been hurt too, more than anything. So we'll see. Pretty much every roster member said, "Now I am Noah." Pretty much everyone stole his catchphrase on that end. So there's that. Maybe now Kaito can finally get his gimmick back.
Yes,
after all these years. That's what I want to see next.
He can finally stop to emulate Keiji Muto and go back to emulating Misawa once again, maybe.
Yes. He'll be much better in that situation. But, he's already doing his own thing. We'll talk about that in a little bit. This new journey that he's on with the Mad Prince and Tanahashi and all the rest. But yeah, Go leaving. I kind of figured that something was up with him for a while now. It definitely explains that loss to Harutoki, and he deserves credit for. he deserves credit for doing business the right way. On the way out, I'm sure he knew he was going to leave at that point, and he did. He could have easily tried to fight his way against that if he wanted. They clearly didn't have any big plans for Harutoki, and in the end, he didn't win any of his matches. But I said it before, this is a loss purely in-ring quality for Noah. He has not been figured as a main player these last couple of years, whether it was for injuries or, like I said, basically being funneled off into Limit Break and the 0-1 champion. He wasn't a main event player in Noah for a while now, but he was still one of their best workers. And that's where they're really going to be missing him. And he's the kind of guy they can... Again, we all saw the N1. There just wasn't a lot of great matches in that tournament. Even though some things were good booking-wise, Go would have definitely accelerated the tournament in terms of match quality. So without him, that's one more bullet out of the chamber for Noah. That has used to be one of the best in-ring companies, and he has a legendary run. I talked about it on Twitter. The run he had was amazing. He was like, second all time in terms of total number of days as champion, with all of his reigns to Sugiura. And his one in 2020, that was the fourth longest of all time in Noah. Misawa, Kobashi, and Sugiura are the only ones ahead of him. So that tells you where he's at in the pantheon, as a top-tier Noah legend. And he's a guy that deserves a ton of roses. And I think he's somebody that the only thing holding him back now is the state of the scene in general, to be honest.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, first of all, him doing business the right way could be him just leaving the foot in the door, This current regime in pro wrestling Noah, that won't be there forever.
Yep.
And maybe like Marufuji won't be there forever as well. So, like I said, in wrestling, you should really never say never. And he could, of course, be returning for a retirement run a couple of years down the road. Who knows? But for now, he's out of the company. He's not returning as a freelancer. He's not wrestling in Pro Wrestling Noah. That was made very, very clear. And really, the only company, or the only two companies that come to mind where I think he could land would be All Japan Pro Wrestling or DDT. Or do you think there could be a chance with New Japan Pro Wrestling as well?
Well, I definitely don't think it'll be DDT. They could have just transferred him over from Noah. So I would definitely not think that's going to happen. All Japan, again, he would fit there. Yeah, but I don't think that they can afford what he would want at the end of the day. So
the thing is, what can you really ask for if you're Go Shiozaki right now? I mean, when we look at Tetsuya Naito, he's wrestling in Europe for now and doesn't really have a foothold in Japan for now. Doesn't want to. That's his statement. And he can't wrestle in the US. So is there really that big of a chance for Go Shiozaki to make big demands?
And that's what I said. Like, that's what's going to hold him back. And that I think a lot of these guys need to check themselves in terms of what they're asking for. I personally think he'll go to Glate. At first, like they I mean, no. They, Nakajima wants him there, and they're gonna, and he's the kind of guy. Axis reuniting is something that can draw for them if they were to do that.
I think this doesn't draw, nothing will.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is basically their last chance. Like, you have this golden opportunity. They should put whatever resources they have at their disposal to bring him in and team him with Nakajima. I think that's the most logical place for him to go. All Japan, I think they should make a move. They haven't. Okay, so do you remember when he left All Japan originally?
Yeah, he left very unceremoniously and split off the tag team run that he had with Kento Miyahara. Was Kento's first run as the world tag team champion, and he was just left with nothing.
And he screwed Kento over for real when that happened. Like I said, very unceremonious. It was like kind of like this. It was like one day he was there and one day he was gone. Except in that situation, he was the tag team champion in All Japan. That's an easy. He didn't do it the right way that time, or the first time in Noah. But regardless, that's an easy end of the year match you suddenly have on the table for an All Japan.
Right.
Go versus Kento for the Triple Crown. Get revenge that Kento was not allowed to get on Nakajima during their run, where Nakajima beat him twice unceremoniously there. I'm sure he thought he would get that win back someday, but nevertheless, he now could do that with Go here. If they, again, it depends on, but the thing is, All Japan's so chaotic. It seems like they're more interested in bringing in these foreigners right now, and that's a really wild time to go where most companies aren't even able to do that. Even New Japan's not able to do that right now. I mean, there's been reports that, hell, Ninja Max said it himself. He got taken off of tours that he was supposed to be on because they're not booking these people. They can't afford these people anymore to fly these guys out. And yet somehow All Japan's getting these NXT rejects on here. And I don't know how they're doing it or why they're doing it. But they're already teasing another one, teaming with Ashino and Havoc. So I don't know what kind of budget they're going to have for a Go. You know, but I also think it's possible that he could kind of take the place of a Tenru project, since that's going away next month. Like, he might be the one to fill that kind of role with an every month type of show, because I just don't see where else he could go. Like I said, at the end of the day, he doesn't fit in Dragon Gate. DDT's out of the question. All Japan can't afford him, probably. And then you have Glate, which it's such a roll of the dice to hope that you can get something out of there. New Japan, that's not out of the question, to be honest. Like, you know, they're going to have an opening for a veteran with Tanahashi retiring. They're going to need people. Like, they're going to need just people. I don't know how much he would really mean as a draw type of flair for New Japan, but they need people to get this new generation going. You know, like we've seen it now for a while now. Just putting the young guys against each other isn't really going to work and help make anybody stars. They need a veteran for these guys to overcome and like get something from. And I think he would fit that role if they would have him. You know, again, I don't know if they want him or not.
And since they are really not in the position to afford more foreigners coming in, there would be a budget for a guy from Japan who is just not able to make big demands right now. You know?
And I think that in that case, he would take less money to be in the bigger stage.
Absolutely.
So that to me is a pretty logical place for him, actually. It's just, we don't know what's going to happen after January 4th. I mean, again, it's pretty much an open secret that this booking team is going to go through some shakeups in New Japan. We don't know who's going to come in and what kind of changes are going to be made after Tanahashi retires. But he's a guy. I'll say it this way: if I was, first off, I was Glade, I'd 1,000,000%. I'd do everything I could to get him to come in. If I was All Japan, I would want him for this one match versus Kento. And I think that's about the best we can hope for on that sense. And I think that would draw and be a legitimate main event. If I was New Japan, I would want him too, to be honest. I think he has a role. I think he's a guy that you could use in many different situations. You could easily put him in some kind of tag team format. I mean, look, if you brought in Jake Lee, why not him? You know, at the end of the day, like what's the argument against Go if you're in New Japan?
I don't know. I don't think there is one. Except
the only thing that I've said,
his physical condition, you can make it the case for.
Yeah, and even in Noah, I mean, we saw Marufuji go through the tournament, so I think that kind of like was, and that was kind of like that gave me my spidey sense tingling when Marufuji was in the tournament. He wasn't. You can't really say, oh well, the physical conditions leading him back. Well, you've got this other guy in here that there. New Japan may think differently, but on the other hand, in a lot of ways, that's almost more reason to bring him in and just get what you can out of him. If he works out long term, great. Even if it's just a short term, that's not bad, really. Like, if you could get something out of him in that role. The only argument against him I've seen is that a lot of New Japan fans just want them to focus on the young guys more and give them spots. But I still think you need more solidified, established stars to help these young guys rather than just go against each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. So, before we go to New Japan Pro Wrestling, Dylan, let us talk about this NOAH card that they have lined up. Of course, Without Go Shiozaki now for Sumo Hall on October 11. It's not Tetsuya Naito that's on the card, like you said. It's Tanahashi. That's the two names that we talked about last time we were here.
Yeah, I said Tanahashi.
The air. Yes, you said it's exactly. Yeah. And so he's on there. So we have the card with the first match is going to be Yuta Miyawaki versus Kai Fujimura. They're always in the opening matches. 5 years down the road, man. Galeno, still the GHC national champion, defeated Jack Morris to defend his title. Teams with Harutoki to take on Manabu Soya and Yuto Kikuchi. We have the Noah versus WWE NXT match with Jack Morris and Uka Sasaki against Charlie Dempsey and Harlem Lewis, who recently faced off against one another to present themselves to the audience. Shun Skywalker is coming in after he teamed with Takashi Sugiura at the Gate of Miyane in the main event. They are accompanied to the ring by Osawa, so he's making his return, not in ring, but he still is there. They fight against Tetsuya Endo and Hayata. Endo recently lost to Dragon Bane, who is going to be the upcoming challenger for Galeno, but not on this show here. Because Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf are defending the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship against Daga and Daiki Odashima. There was also a very odd turn that we could talk about in a bit. Special singles match, Katsuhiko Fujita versus Minoru Suzuki. It was so funny how Minoru Suzuki came into Noah and they expected him to be booed heavily, but the crowd endeared him. So, like portraying that the crowd that they had during Minoru Suzuki's run is all gone. Otherwise, the crowd would have booed him heavily because he and his run was responsible for Pro Wrestling Noah's really traumatizing run in the mid 2010s.
I remember it very well.
Like it was yesterday. Yeah. Then the special tag match, of course. Kaito Kiyomiya came out at Destruction in Kobe and asked Tanahashi to be his partner for a match. They are facing the new tag team of Naomichi Marufuji and Keno. Then we have Hiromu Takahashi versus Eita for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship and Kenta versus Masaki Tamiya for the GHC Heavyweight title. So, Dylan, what do you think about this card?
I think the top two matches are good, and that's about it. Like overall, I think we can presume that Ozawa was meant to be Shun's partner in this match and the one at Gate of Miyane.
Yes. But I mean, it was fine to have Sugiura there, but it's total misfit with a guy like Shun Skywalker.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Yeah, I love Sugiura.
Stoic and super rational Sugiura guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Ozawa would have been a perfect fit as two crazy people teaming together.
Yeah.
Sugiura I love, and I will always love, and I think it's great that he does stuff. But he's not a fit with Shun at all, to say the least. But still, Endo's been one of the better guys in Noah. The loss to Dragon Bane was puzzling, to be honest. But everything they've done with the national title was puzzling. Like, most people thought Jack was going to win that, and that didn't pan out. I mean, Galeno is too powerful,
apparently.
At the end of the day. Also, he's nearing his brother's record of title defenses with the title, so
sure.
I kind of figure his brother might come in actually for that, like at some point. The Dempsey, the Dempsey and Harlem. I mean, I don't even know who that guy is, to be honest. Dempsey looked good. I watched their match. It was okay. Like, it wasn't anything terrible, but he, Dempsey obviously has a lot of respect. Jack and Olka as a team is not vibing with me, to be honest. That doesn't seem like a great pairing.
I don't think they have anything in common.
I don't either. Other than the only thing I can think of is that Jack is somebody they have their eyes on for NXT. Again, heavily rumored.
Yeah,
and he makes sense. I mean, he has everything they would look for probably, and he's in a weird spot in Noah right now. On top of it,
it's been puzzling what they've been doing with both guys that are on this side of the match with Morris and Sasaki, especially in the N1 with Sasaki, because he's not been he's been at the bottom of the block, and it's just At this point, we were thinking that he would be headlining the January 1 Budokan show, but he's not anywhere near that.
No. It's a real shame. They were really on a good direction with him. Then they broke up the group with him, Keno, and Kenta, and it seems like he just like went right back to the start.
To make room for the new pairing of Marufuji and Keno, so that Marufuji has something to do on top.
Yeah, that's been pretty much it. And Jack, I mean, I wasn't too impressed with the finals that he had with Masa. Like it was fine. Like it was good enough.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a good babyface versus heel match. I enjoyed it. I watched it live. It was early in the morning hours for me. I watched it live before going to work. So I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a good effort by Jack Morris.
And he's a good babyface. Like he has a lot of fan support.
Mm-hmm.
Junior title, tag titles, I think that sucks. Like a total waste of Onishima to be teaming with Daga and a completely weird turn that he had.
Like all of a sudden, you hate Hoshitatsu?
Yeah, and the way it was done was just stupid. Like with him coming out and then doing a match and turning into another match, and then Hayata got beat down somehow. It was just dumb. Like the whole thing was just goofy. I love Onishima. Like he's one of the best workers on the roster, in my opinion, even as a rookie. And I think he'll do good with Gopiadoras. I mean, their match with Fujimura and Alejandro was great.
Great stuff, yes.
They had, so that was really cool. This match should be okay. Daga is still the blandest wrestler in the entire world, I think. That has not changed throughout his N1 run, although they gave him a win over Kaito to knock him out. Fujita versus Suzuki could be a worse match candidate, in my opinion, if it lives up to the hype of Suzuki and Butterbean from earlier in the year. I don't think he'll beat that.
What did you think about Fujita on Dragon Gate?
I don't hate Fujita that much. Like to be honest with
you, it was actually a complete out of the box idea to have this dude in Dragon Gate, so it fit really well actually.
He's okay. Well. Yeah, I mostly don't mind Fujita. I kind of like him actually. Like I've always liked his in ring, like well enough. So the way they pushed him was really weird in one, but like he served the purpose, like we said on the last episode, where it's like the traditional start off hot then lose later guy. Like, that was fine. Tanahashi Kaito, I had a feeling Tanahashi was going to be up their sleeve for this, because I feel like he does need to do these. And I do think he'll have a match in All Japan, too, before he goes, by the way. Before he retires. I think that he's going to have to check off all of his boxes, pretty much. This is fine, but it's Marufuji in there, who had an okay run in the N1. Like I said, he probably overachieved considering the low expectations we had for him after the first night. But he's definitely not someone I want to see in a major match like this. Or like this should be Oka's spot. You know, like that we talked about earlier. It would have made perfect sense. Even if you wanted to job Oka out. Like let Tanahashi get a pin here, and that would be fine. Instead, we're doing this stuff where I suppose Keno would take the fall here over Tanahashi.
I was thinking about that. I'm not ruling out that Kaito is losing.
That's, I think, a safe bet in any of his matches, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know.
He should be winning, especially now with Go leaving and everybody looking at him and saying, okay, is Kaito now claiming back the I Am Noah name? But we know how they fare with him.
But that's not even his storyline right now. Like, he is...
No. That's the story. It's what the people look at right now with him.
I don't know who looks at that. Like, to me, he's been a nothing this whole year. Well, you do, I suppose. I don't. Like, on there. I think it's good that they've really pivoted with him in the tournament. I think he needed a total new character. It seems like they're on their way to that. I will say, when he came out of the New Japan show, he got absolutely zero reaction whatsoever. Unlike Eita, who got huge heel heat as well when he was on the New Japan show.
It was Kobe.
It's funny, but I loved his promo, though, where he's like, I've lived here 15 years. Like,
yes.
Well, they know what happened with him at DG, and that's not good. Kobe, so... but yeah, Kaito just has zero star power, ultimately, to me, and he won't gain it in this match, regardless of what happens. So I don't know what the point of this is, other than just have Tanahashi have a feel good moment. So if I had to predict, I'd say Tanahashi pins either Marufuji or Keno here. But it's fine.
Is Tanahashi going to give the sling blade to Kaito Kiyomiya?
Didn't he already give that to somebody in New Japan?
To Yumura, right?
Did he do? Was that who he gave it to?
I think so. I'm not sure actually. Right now.
Oh, well, like I said, yeah. I don't remember who it was. That shows you how impactful that was to me. I suppose.
Wato.
Yeah, it was Wato. Yeah, that's right. He had the match with Wato. Yeah, because I was like, I don't think he gave it to Yumura at all. But yeah. So there you go. So yeah, his moves are.
Blade is going to live with Master Wato, huh?
I mean, I wish they would push him better. Like that, but
he's going to go on a rampage now that he has the most powerful running move.
Who's going to get the Lightning's inside cradle?
I don't know.
That's still one of my favorite moves of his. I wish he would do it like one more time before he retires. I love that era of Tanahashi. But yeah, so that match not much to me.
Do you think that I want to say that I really, really liked the Hiromu Takahashi and Taiji Ishimori match.
Yeah.
And I think I liked it much better than the cage match inmates, which the match has a 7.09 rating. And I thought it was, I would say, was the second best match on the show, actually, on Destruction in Kobe, right behind Tsuji and Finlay, because I thought that the idea of Taiji Ishimori coming in and thinking that he goes back to his Noah roots with all the aerial attacks that he did, and those attacks not really paying off because he's just an old dude. That was just a great storyline. I thought Hiromu Takahashi was there too to deliver that match, and so I am vaguely optimistic for this Takahashi versus Eita match.
I'm definitely optimistic. I said it on the Patreon show. I'm into GHC Hiromu. Like, he's been motivated every single time. He put in more effort into that match than usual. I don't think it was as good as his match with Yohei when he won the title. But the Ishimori match was very good for sure. And I think he's going to deliver here. I love the angle they did with Eita on the show. It made him look like a big star. I think Hiromu finally has something he can care about again in wrestling.
And I think Eita hasn't looked that good in many, many years.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think this will be a good match, honestly. Like, this is probably, again, the top two matches of this show are good. And I think this one could very well be, the match of the night if the main event goes off the rails a little bit, like Masa's in one matches. If that turns into another interference fest, like, that could turn me off. But I do think we have to say this about the main event. Look at the poster for this show. Space Kenta. What does this have to do with anything?
I don't know, man.
Why is he an astronaut?
Why is this show called Wrestling Odyssey?
Well, I mean, that's a fine show. It fits Noah's Ark. The Odyssey, the Greeks, and
are they going to take the Odyssey of Masaki Tamiya winning the championship?
Yeah, I kind of gone back and forth on this, to be honest.
I'm not sure either.
I think both sides have pros and cons. Yeah, and I think both sides have good arguments for them, actually. So, the argument for Kenta would be, you want him to go into January 1st, the biggest stage possible, with a solidified draw and a legacy guy for Noah, and somebody who's done good work for you. Like, things have gone good with him as champion. They haven't really fallen off at all after Ozawa's left. And I think he's somebody that they could point to. I guess it would depend on how this show does as well. We obviously don't have the numbers yet on that. This does a very low number that may tell us something about Masa Kitamiya's drawing ability on here. But, I mean, we don't know. Like, I'm pretty optimistic about that, actually, the way things have gone. Masa winning, the best argument for him is that you've already gone this far with him. You've given him the tag belt. You had him win the tournament. If he loses here, that feels like the end of his push, pretty much. Like, there's, how is he going to really come back from that with this new character? Like, it kind of like slots him again. Like that, like they've done for 10 years now, plus. But I'd be okay with it either way, honestly. Like, I think there's arguments for or against. I just hope the match is good and they don't have a lot of run-ins and stuff. But I do think that they will go there at the end. And we also have to wonder who is going to be challenging for this belt on January 1st.
Who do they have?
Marufuji.
I guess so.
If he pins Kaito, I think there's a chance they go back to that. If that's the finish of that match.
Sure.
If Kaito did get a winning pin in that match, or maybe that could set him up to go after Kenta.
Yep.
I mean, Kaito did beat him in the tournament, so he kind of has a title shot ready.
Right. Maybe
that's
Kaito's challenging.
Yeah, I mean that's an easy storyline to tell at least. And they don't have really anything that I can see otherwise up their sleeve.
It is an easy storyline. Also going back to what happened last year, of course. Or this year. It's
this year.
Yeah.
It would be, but even that would be better if Masa was the champion, actually.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, like if Kaito faced Masa and Ozawa was in his corner, like on there, that would at least be something. It's not as good as a revenge win, I suppose, but it's at least something overall.
You have to have some pretty strong matches underneath that, though.
And plus, Masa beat Kaito in the tournament. So, like, that wouldn't make a ton of sense. Who did Masa lose to in the tournament? Let me check this real quick here. Masa lost to Kenta, Ulka.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah,
so, and they're not putting Ulka. Maybe they have maybe Nakamura could come back for this one again and like bring him in for a title match against Masa. I don't know. It's just weird right now. At least this show will give us more clarity on that at least. But I'd say the last two matches rather on the show are good. The rest of the show isn't really grabbing me when I look at this card up and down.
Yeah. No, it's not. But I guess, ultimately it's a good card for what they can pull off right now. But like you said, the N1 didn't really knock it out of the park. We'll see how this show delivers.
And there's just a lot of mismatched parts. Like Odashima teaming with Daga, Endo teaming with Hayata, Keno teaming with Marufuji. This really isn't the best they can do. It's actually like all of their matches are kind of messed up when you think about it.
Yes, and you're right. Actually, what we've been talking about their booking last time around here, it's always going to be messy.
What do you think Go thinks when he sees this?
I think he's glad that he's out the door.
Where would he have been at on this show?
Probably on in the second match.
Yeah.
Or like either teaming or opposing Harutoki.
They might have been able to put him in. I think they would have just had maybe the two in the first match team up against him and Kotoge or something like.
Yeah. Did you notice that Kotoge isn't even on the card?
I know. I mean, who knows what politics are going around back then?
Actually, Mohamed Yona isn't on the card either, so really none of the Team Noah guys are.
Well, and that's a sad thing that they're going to have to figure out going forward. Because, I could see them. And it's not like they were really pushing them that hard anyway. So it's not like they're making a hard decision to lay the hammer down on the Team Noah guys. Because they already weren't a part of his, they weren't part of the inner circle of Nosawa and company booking the show. So, and I mean, that's probably a big part of why things happened how they did, ultimately.
Yes. Okay, so much for Pro Wrestling Noah, I want to say. We're going to turn to New Japan Pro Wrestling. They also have a Sumo Hall card coming up as King of Pro Wrestling just 2 days after the Wrestling Odyssey show from Pro Wrestling Noah. Dylan, they just had the Destruction in Kobe show that did a good house. It was up from last year's attendance. They had 4,679 fans for Zack Sabre Jr. versus Renarita, in comparison to 4,528 with Naito against Great Okan. And they also had the title match between Gabe Kidd and Shingo Takagi that turned into a heavily brawling style of match. They had Yota Tsuji and David Finlay in more of a traditional style of match with a great finish, I want to say. I really loved the finish with the Guerrero special into the spear. That should be sticking around for Yota Tsuji. Just a perfect setup for the spear. David Finlay was just as vicious as usual. Great opponent for Tsuji to set up the rematch with Gabe Kidd next. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Renarita in the main event, I thought was really going well with lots of groundwork between the two. I really liked what Renarita put on here up until, of course, all the intrusions came, and it turned out to be a regular House of Torture match. Like I said, really was into the Hiromu Takahashi versus Taiji Ishimori match. So overall, and also, of course, including the IWGP Tag Team title match, Asuka and Yuto Ice were just on fire, as was Taiji and Tomoyo Ishii in this match. Was one of the best IWGP Tag Team title matches I can remember in recent years, even though the bar is pretty low. But this one was really, really good. So the top of the card was actually pretty good.
Yeah, obviously the first three matches don't really mean much. Setting up Bold and Evil in the Fale match. Tag team match was really good. I think that this would be just a shade below Tsuji and Finlay for me as match of the night. I think that the Knockout Brothers look good. I think that they won't be wrestling Taichi and Ishii in every match, though. I think we do have to remember. So the jury's still kind of out on them, in my opinion. It's nice what they're doing, but you said it about yourself. Like, it's a low bar to clear about best matches in the tag division.
Yeah.
And even these guys, it's like, these guys just waltz in. They didn't do anything to earn a title shot. They immediately win the belts. Their next challengers are guys who never teamed before that much. Like, they just announced they were a team, like, right before the show. And now they're getting a title shot next. So it's like, they're not doing good with the division. The character, I still don't really like, to be honest, like the Knockout Brothers gimmick, so to speak. But in ring, I think they're really good. They showed what they can do.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I really, really like the way that Asuka looks right now. He is carrying himself much, much more like the tall guy that he is. And they pointed out in commentary that he is the tallest guy on the roster right now, and I think he's working like that. And also on the show, just watched the match from the first day of the road to King of Pro Wrestling. I don't think it's only like 3 shows or something like that. But I really thought that Yuto Ice came across well as well. And Chris Charlton made a good point on Yuto Nakashima, saying that he always seemed to be more of an antagonist guy in comparison to Shota Umino or Yuya Uemura. And I always thought, I don't know why I thought that, but I always thought that he was not that tall, but he actually is. He's just as tall as Yuya Uemura. That's 5'11". And so he really blends in well with these guys. And it's going to be, we're going to see how far he can go with that gimmick and with that kind of wrestling style.
The wrestling style is great. The thing with Oscar is, when he walks out, he looks like a killer. But when he takes the bandana down, you realize this guy looks like the ultimate babyface, like young guy on there.
I mean, he is so young still. He's 27.
Yeah, and Yuto Ice is just a caricature, and I can see him being kind of offensive, like in a lot of ways. But
it is. He's also getting repercussions from fans online.
Yeah, I mean, like this gimmick sucks, like, to be honest. But I do like their wrestling, so I'm happy to watch them wrestle. Again, I'm excited about what they're going to do. If I had my wish, this would be the start of them rebuilding the tag division. I said this in the Patreon review of the show. If you could have these guys as a real team, again, these two are kind of like a weird pairing on paper still, like in a lot of ways, but we know that they've spent a lot of time together over the last couple of years on excursions, so they could be a real team. If they were to keep Umino and Uemura together as a team, that could be another lead type of team for you, but to be honest, I just don't see that happening. And even this Taichi and Ishii, they were another team that never teamed before and suddenly got a title shot. They don't have any plans for this division, and I think that's going to really hold the Knockout Brothers back. And I think a lot of fans are just going to be like, if they do catch up to one of these guys who are both talented, again, it's nothing against their wrestling abilities, but if they do catch on, I feel like a lot of the fans are just going to be like, I can't wait for them to split up so X can get a big run coming up instead of making the tag division the focal point, which I would hope that they would want to do.
What do you think about the draw overall that they got for this show?
Well, it speaks poorly to Great Okan in the main event last year, to be honest. Other than that, I mean, it's good. It's something that they at least. It's not like great, but it's a little better than last year, so that's something. But I don't really think too much of it overall. Maybe Zach's catching on a little bit. Maybe Narita's got a little bit more fan support.
I think both arguments are true with both guys, with both Zack Sabre Jr. and Narita. I think Zach's run is coming across much better than last year's. And Narita was a good challenger after all. I didn't expect that, but it worked out for what it was.
It was a good filler challenger, and this is another situation where he was in a tough spot because, like, nobody would believe he's going to lose here. Like, the title here. Like, so Narita was kind of put in a tough position. I mean, Zach's title reign hasn't come across good at all, in my opinion. That G1 run, he looked awful. Like, anytime he was in the main events, it was always bad. His wrestling was good, but in terms of attendances, he still doesn't feel like a star at all.
Attendance was a big talking point throughout the entire G1, not only for Zach's matches.
And I just think he's not a star player. Like, he's still not a main eventer, in my opinion, that they're trying to push him to be with. I suppose we'll find out at King of Pro Wrestling how that goes.
We'll see, yes.
But this was not a step back for once. like I said, every other talking point in the tournament was bad. So at least now you have something to hang your hat on. The Hiromu and Ishimori, agree with you, like that match a lot. Loved the story. I thought they both looked more motivated than usual, and that goes a long way. Tsuji Finlay, again, I agree with all your points pretty much. I thought that was the best match on the show to me. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it sucks, though, because Finlay takes another big loss. So we'll see if they have any plans for him going ahead. It kind of seems like he's in real rough waters. So I would say heading into the January 4th show, I don't see a lot of bright future for the short term for him. Tsuji, I think, is built up very well. Kid and Shingo, I see that everybody liked this match on Cage Match. I thought there was some good to it, but also some bad. And I think in general, Gabe Kidd doesn't really appeal to me as a wrestler.
In many ways, it was extremely sloppy.
Yeah.
And in that one certain situation where Gabe Kidd almost suplexed Junko Takagi from the apron into the guardrail, it was extremely dangerous.
And they're just, the things he does is just like, there's just not a lot of psychology, in my opinion. You see a lot of big moves that they do in these matches and hard hits and impressive spots and say he's a madman. But, which he did do again in this match, by the way.
Yes.
But
he's a madman.
But there's no actual thread in these matches. Like, I would say, like in a lot of his matches, he just does stuff. And I don't think he's that good. In all honesty, is my problem with him. And Shingo can fall prey to this, as it said, too. Like, in these matches, he can sometimes, like, him and Ishii didn't always click, like, lately. Obviously, their first few matches were great, but I just feel like there's just not a lot of gas left in the tank of this Gabe Kidd Shingo rivalry.
No.
And the main event, it was a tough spot that they kind of overachieved on. It turned into just a normal House of Torture match, as you said. But at least it turned out okay by the end, and we'll see what happens going forward.
They made Narita look as good as possible in a situation where everybody knew he wasn't winning.
And he's a good wrestler. Like, that's the thing. He's good. It's just in this gimmick, there's just not a lot of chances to show that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but overall, a good show. Like, overall, honestly, like, this was not a bad show in any way, shape, or form. I would say booking and match-wise.
Yeah. All right, let us look then at the card for King of Pro Wrestling. First of all, I gotta check there still is a Kurken Hall card. I think that's it's actually going to happen. Yeah, Despy's defending, and actually is going to happen before the release of this show, so no need to talk about this. Really, what did you think about Despy and Yo?
I thought it was a good match. The problem with this was that it just feels like Yo had that huge moment at the Best of Super Junior final at the end. And I think that they did okay at the end. And the crowd did get behind Yo again here, which was nice. I mean, they had the main event spot. Once again, just like in October, they did it again in September, where they had the smaller show at Sapporo. And on a bad show, too. Like everything on that show was like worthless, except for that, maybe the tag title match. But yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought that the crowd was into Yo. And I thought that the second part, the last 5 minutes or so and stuff, but there was a lot here that I could have done without. I don't think there's just a lot in Yo's bag to hold this kind of, like in the junior final, he had the benefit of using all of his friends' moves, like the chaos moves, and that really helped add a lot into the time. Him just doing his own thing, there's just not a lot of gas in his tank, and I think that's why you see a lot of these reviews are talking about how bad the first half was.
Yeah,
and it was fun.
It was a match that was all about him landing hope spots and nothing else. He didn't really have anything in his own pocket, like you said, to make you believe that he would actually be winning this title.
Yeah, and it's a shame because he did have that great moment. And they just threw it away. And I think he's back to where he was before. Like, there's been no real gains with any of these people.
Yeah,
and they're just kind of in the same spot. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's look
at what about Despy as champion? Like,
I think he has had a good run as champion. I think that he has had a lot of good challengers, has had a lot of diverse matches during his run, very different kind of matches, and you can see that. I mean, he's not in a position in a defending position on this Sumo Hall card, but they're looking at him as a guy that is able to headline second tier shows. And I think for the Junior Heavyweight Championship, that is as much as you can ask in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And that apparently is going to be his role in this run and going forward too.
Yeah, and I think you really hit the nail on the head with all of that. I liked his run from an in-ring perspective for sure. He's had a lot of good matches since he won it on January 4th. Obviously, that was an unfortunate situation at the Dome. But as champion, he's done a good job. And he's kind of like the de facto, like, secondary show champion. Whenever they have a smaller show leading up to the big show, they put him on the main event. As a fan, I kind of wish it was on the bigger shows, though, to be honest. It would just make those shows feel more stacked in a lot of ways. But you want to draw on some of these other shows, and they trust him with that. I think that, at the very, very least, you can see that they have a trust in him at his level. Like, they don't trust him as, like, a main eventer, but they have a trust for him as, like, the mid-card main eventer, pretty much. Exactly. That's basically where they see him at. And he does good in the role. The matches are always good. I didn't love the Yo match, but, everything else has been good, and I think he's a good champion. I agree with you. I hope that he can get a real shot to shine on January 4th when he is on the major show then.
Yeah, then not doing the Despy and Doki match on January 4th, they're doing it now. So we'll see what he has in store for January 4th.
Yeah.
First match of King of Pro Wrestling is the affiliated team of Shingo Takagi, Hiro Takashi, and Titan. That's just LIJ without Tetsuya Naito and Bushi, actually.
This whole situation. Go ahead and finish this match, and I'm saying that.
They're going to take on the Bullet Club Warlocks team of David Finlay, Taiji Ishimori, and Clark Connors.
This whole situation is proof that they're just biding time until Naito comes back. To me, basically. What are they doing? Like, okay, so we're not... let's analyze this for a second. So this group has sworn that they are not LIJ, and they're not even a group.
No.
Although they also accepted a new member into this non-group as well.
Exactly. How do you accept a new member if you're not a group?
And now they're still teaming together as a as you said, a non-faction faction.
They are pointing out that Daiki Nagai has left Hontai and joined this other group. So if you leave Hontai and join
it's
another
not
group,
a group though, Stringer. Don't you know this?
can you leave Hontai to join another group if that other group is non-existent?
He's disappeared. So, like he's
into the void.
Yeah, exactly. If you join this group, you don't exist anymore. And even still, they're better off than Finley. Like on this group, like on the show, like they're still better off than him in this lame group that he's in.
Well, on the topic of lame, Dylan, the second match on the show is Drilla Maloney versus Sanada.
Both of those men fit that description, I would argue. What's this whole this is gonna be your murder situation we have going on here? He's promised to bring a coffin to the ring for Sanada's funeral. When did Drilla become the Undertaker? Is what I want to know.
Haven't they done a coffin match before in that Junior Tag title run? Connors and Drilla?
I hope not. I hope that you're wrong, but I accept that may have happened.
Wait a sec. I have to find that for the. There was a coffin match for the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title, but I'm not sure.
Why would there be a double team coffin match? How did I remember this messed up match? If it happened, like a tag team coffin match.
IWGP Junior. There was a coffin match between. It was Catch 2 versus the Bullet Club War Dogs. Yeah.
What kind of match was that?
What run was it actually?
Yeah, like it tells you how that nobody. I guarantee you, everyone listening to this was like, "What's Stringer talking about?" I believe you. Like I know that you're right. In fact, I'm looking at it now. I know that you're right. I'm just saying, no one remembers this, Stringer.
That it could also have been the preview to the actual match, the eventual match.
Even better, even better.
Here,
December
21st, yeah. Road to Tokyo Dome saw a 6-man preview of Wrestle Kingdom's Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship between Catch 2 and the Bullet Club War Dogs, but there was a dark and potentially dangerous twist in the tale. Drilla Maloney and Clark Connors came to the ring rolling a coffin that Maloney declared was for TJP and Francisco Akira. That actually happened.
No,
it was not a talent.
I believe you, but it's just
it was before it was December 23.
And that tells you how much it was worth. Like, as I said, nobody remembers that at all. I will remember that match either after it does. I can assure you of that.
I have an important question regarding this coffin.
Yes.
Do you think if someone opens the coffin, the Aswang will show up?
What a return that would be. I do remember that entrance with the Aswang where he came out of the coffin.
Magical.
So. What's Akira doing?
He's injured.
Oh.
He broke his wrist and he had to drop out of the last weekend's WXW, weekend 2. So he's going to be out for a while, I guess.
I miss him.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to seeing him alive, actually.
I'd rather watch him than this match. I can guarantee you that.
We're talking very long about this second match on the show that we don't like. So Hiroki Goto is making his return to pro wrestling, Dylan. Much more down our road here. He's teaming, of course, with Yoshihashi and Yo to take on Roy Oiwa, Hartley Jackson, and Kosei Fujita. Now that's a match.
Where are the rest of TMDK at? I was thinking about that in that title match.
Ooh, who cares?
Well, I mean, it's hard to argue with that.
See?
Well, Goto's back from injury and filming a movie at the same time, like as well.
What a man.
Yes, and I look forward to that movie very much, for the record. So it cannot be worse than the original Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme in it. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Goto. I'm sure he'll have a major spot.
Yeah, we'll see about that. What he has in store for January 4. Could just be a tag title match, It's for all we know.
It depends on what's going to happen in the all-important New Japan World Tag League.
Yes. And of course, the all-important New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television title is on the line. with El Desperado's 20th anniversary match and Hiroshi Tanahashi's final road to Nagu. He's making the connection here with Desperado. Tanahashi wants to win one more championship before he retires. Do you think he wins this one here?
I don't see any need for it, to be honest. We all know that he's going to be in the main match on January 4th, and the TV title does nothing to help that.
I was just going to say that TV title is going to headline the Tokyo Dome, eh?
No, I guess Phantasmo will win. He likes him, so.
Yeah, yes, so okay, could be. Bolton Oleg defends the Never Openweight Championship against Evil. He just had a disastrous match against King Fale. now Evil is approaching.
Well,
what a waste of this guy's run.
Yeah. It is what it is. It'll be the same as all the regular House of Torches matches.
Sure.
Evil could win this, to be honest with you. It wouldn't completely surprise me. I hope not, though.
Yeah. So, tag team title is on the line with Yuya Uemura and Shota Umino challenging Oscar and Yuto Ice. We just basically talked about this match. I don't see any need for a tag team title change.
What do you think? What do you think of them teaming up, Umino and Uemura?
I actually don't mind it right now because
me either. Yeah,
it doesn't seem like that they have anything in store for either one as a singles. Yeah. So teaming them up has a nice babyface team in store for World Tactic that they can actually headline shows with.
Yeah, I think it makes a ton of sense. Like, they're guys who came in with a lot of fanfare. They've been in mid-card hell ever since. Outside of, Umino's, Dome run, which was strictly panned and commercially panned as well. Putting them together as a team, I think, is a great usage of both men. They seem like they have some good in-ring chemistry with each other. We saw. Like I said, I'm just scared, though, that this whole team really, it's a shame because it feels like Umino's in the exact same spot he was in years ago when he teamed with Narita the first time.
Yeah. It has the danger of slotting them. I agree with that.
But the problem is not just that. It feels to me like this team was put together so one of them can turn on the other. And that could lead to a dome match with each other.
Not again.
That's what it feels like to me.
So who's going to join the House of Torture?
I feel like they would pick Uemura for that role. But I feel like either one of them, whoever turns, is going to be in Narita's shoes. So it doesn't even matter.
Could any one of those two be joining the War Dogs?
That would make more sense. I would say. Yeah.
I think it could be Umino. I don't think Umino would join the House of Torture, but him in a different group, in a more heelish style of group, would fit his more vicious nature recently.
Well, what if they turn in this match? You could start a subgroup.
That's why I'm making the point.
Mm-hmm. Yes, subgroup of the War Dogs, Umino teaming with the Knockout Brothers.
Yeah.
I think there's a fun storyline they can play with, which I haven't really seen them touch on. In that Uemura and Umino, again, they were brought in as the main guys of their class and heavily favored and fan favorites and all that crap. And yet, the Knockout Brothers won a belt in their first night, pretty much. And the other two haven't really accomplished anything. I think that would be a good storyline to play with for this match, and they've not really done a lot of that. But these guys were kind of the rejects of their class, but they won the title on the first night, pretty much.
But overall, we just don't need another team to be put together to be just split up.
If it were up to me, they would stay a team. And I think that's their best usage and their best chance for success for now. Is to stay friends, stay a team, let the fans have somebody to hang on to. And it would help the division, which it desperately, desperately needs teams.
Yes.
Because there aren't any teams in this heavyweight division. We just talked about it. All three teams were first-time teams of the last time. Taichi and Ishii, Knockout Brothers, although they were on excursion together at least, And now these guys. We need more teams in this division.
We do. We definitely do. So, yeah, that brings us to the second match from the top with the IWGP Global Tag, with the global title on the line, global heavyweight title on the line. Yota Tsuji challenges Gabe Kidd. And for all that I'm expecting Tsuji to run through Gabe Kidd in this match.
Yeah, Tsuji's winning this belt, pretty much.
I don't think there is anything left for Gabe Kidd in this title run. Nor do I think there's anything left for Gabe Kidd in this current incarnation in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They have to change the title to Tsuji.
And it's really the only way they can get him, like, into anything bigger is to have him win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Tsuji shouldn't be taking losses to Gabe Kidd, period. No. In my opinion.
Not. And Tsuji is not going to be wrestling for the world title in the Tokyo Dome for all we know.
Not what I heard.
Saw him second from the top at Tokyo Dome. That would be a good promotion considering where he is in where he has been this year.
Who do you think's going to win the main event?
I am so unsure about this match. I don't know if they know what the crowd is going to do in this match. If they have a feeling for that, because Takeshita coming in without even appearing in September or in early October for New Japan Pro Wrestling at all isn't going to do him any favors of any kind. So I kind of expect him to be booed. And if I was them, I was bringing Don Callis and I was going to run Takeshita as a heel in this match. But there is no indication that Takeshita feels like he's going to be a heel. Going back to the comments that he made after winning the G1 Climax. So that could be a real weird dynamic in this match with the crowd turning against a guy that isn't even portraying a heel. So with that in mind, I think it would be hard to pull off a title change and to pull off Takeshita going into the Tokyo Dome as the champion. Then again, we have Zack Sabre Jr. as the current champion, who did have a good outing at at Destruction in Kobe. And if they are going with him and if he gets another good house, then he might be off and running to the Tokyo Dome. When Takeshita won the G1, I was very sure that he would be winning this title. Him not being on the tour made me really unsure. So right now I'm tending towards Zack Sabre Jr.
And I was really slow on that. I wasn't ready to crown Takeshita when he won yet because I felt like the natural match they would go with would be Goto coming back to get revenge on Zack at the Dome for the title. The third in their 3-match series, Goto has a triumphant win for the title at the Dome. And with Goto coming back on this show, I suppose that's still possible. But to me, it really feels like... Because I didn't like those comments by Takeshita afterwards. I thought that it was really lame sounding, to be honest. And always, it felt like it was kind of playing in the middle, Like either go heel or fight the fans and go babyface. But he kind of was just like... Yeah, I love New Japan, but if the fans don't want to see me and they want to see me as an outsider, then I guess that's okay too. He just kind of gave up, it felt like, and that's not a very endearing main event trait, I do have to say. I think Takeshita will win, personally, at this point. They've kind of slowed down on Goto, but I don't think it's a guarantee, like most people do. I think
there still is the one show left in Tanahashi's hometown where they could pull something off. In regards of Goto challenging.
Yeah, if they wanted to do that, but then who challenges Goto for the title at at the Dome?
No, I was just saying that they could build Goto up at this show in November to have him challenge Zack Sabre Jr. in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, if it were me, I personally think that title challenger should be. We should know who that is by the end of the show. In my opinion. But you're right. If they wanted to hold off for that, they could definitely do it.
They could.
And this is a unique year. And this is a unique year with Tanahashi. Clearly, that's moving a lot of tickets. Like all the reports coming in that they're already over 20,000. Like they basically already beat last year, like almost, and we're 3 months out from the show. That show is going to be one of their biggest dome shows in a long time. And all the doubts about Tanahashi's drawing power are like, a lot of people are going to look foolish on this dome show here because that show is going to be huge. And I think that his match.
And they even sold out the tickets that are much, much more expensive than last year's tickets.
And I think he's going to be in the main event, personally. Like over the title match. Yeah. So that makes the title match not as vital. With the Takeshita, you got a little bit of options. There's been talk about Tsuji challenging as a double title match in the main event of the Dome. Like, they kind of teased that already with Tsuji kind of bringing that up. It's just the problem with that is it's something we've heard about a million times and nobody actually gives a crap about the global title. So it's not actually a very good story. The main appeal of that would be it's Tsuji versus Takeshita again. And this is Tsuji's chance to be crowned as the champion, which is a good story. I predicted last month on Twitter that I thought that Okada would be the challenger for Takeshita, considering that is the build we have heading into the AEW show, obviously. And that feels like a place where they could put something. It would really fit. Gato's last ride, pretty much the thing that he's always done throughout his career. Yeah. That's his main move we've seen. And Okada's going to be on that show. There's no chance he's not on the Dome show in some way or form or fashion. Even if the worst case scenario is a video package. Like Tanahashi's show for retirement show is not going to pass without him being on it. And I think that
the question is for that show too. It's not even Okada, but the question is Tetsuya Naito going to be there, and is there going to be in any way possible an involvement of Shinsuke Nakamura going to be made at the show?
Yeah, I was just about to say that I think that the thing is, if you notice the news lately, you have had all these WWE guys talking about Tanahashi retirement, and I just don't think that's happening by accident. Five guys, 3 guys or however many was former New Japan guys in WWE didn't just suddenly start magically talking about Tanahashi on their own. It feels like this is something that's getting pushed for, and I think that's something. I think if Tanahashi had his choice for opponent, Nakamura would be his pick because he really means the most for his career, especially the early going, and really his whole run. That's like his guy, like his brother, so to speak, in wrestling. So I think he would want it. There's probably people in WWE pushing for it. With that machine, you never know what they want or don't want, overall. So this might be one of the times they go against it. Maybe they say, no, we've worked with Noah too much. We can't do that. I don't know. Nakamura, who knows what his contract status is. But that feels like a possibility, at least, that he's another one that I think will be involved in some shape or form. But I don't think you can write him off as Tanahashi's opponent either. At the Dome show. And again, that's something I would like to know by the end of this King of Pro Wrestling show, by the way. I think we should know who Tanahashi's fighting by the end of this show.
Usually they have some big stuff left in their pocket for the November show. And this November show happens to be in Tanahashi's hometown now. It's not going to be Power Struggle this year.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be the Tanahashi show.
Yeah, the last homecoming or whatever. Yeah,
exactly, and that, in my opinion, would call for at least a video package from Nakamura.
Good point, and I think that might be where we get the announcement of his final opponent as well.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so that makes sense. So at the end of the show, we know the title match. After Tanahashi's show, we know who Tanahashi's fighting.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, let's best case scenario this for the Dome. Okay. Tanahashi versus Nakamura in Nakamura's New Japan return after a decade in the main event. You have Okada versus Takeshita for the IWGP title. Yeah, Zack versus Goto. And the undercard is the best of the third series. And Aaron Wolf's debut match.
That is a loaded card.
That's the best New Japan card we've seen in years.
Mm.
And even without, like, let's say Okada's not facing Takeshita. Let's say it's Takeshita and Tsuji. That's still the best New Japan card we've seen in years. But I do think those are the two likely candidates to face Takeshita. Can you think of anybody else you think would fight him in the Dome? If he were to win the belt?
I don't know. It really doesn't come anyone that comes to mind.
Yeah. And say if it was Zack, like, Goto's the obvious challenger, and I don't think anybody else would make sense. So at least now we've got a vision of what this Dome show, like, we already kind of have an inkling of what it could be, and we just have to really nail it down now. So I like that. I think we have to praise New Japan building up to this King of Pro Wrestling show. You know, the Zack and Narita match turned out to be a good piece of business for them. You've got a good, at least interesting match with Takeshita. I don't know how it will draw, but it's at least an interesting match in the main event. And you have little seeds that have been planted for the Dome already before King of Pro Wrestling even happened. So to me, I think that's a sign that there has been some good booking heading into this. And if all goes well, maybe even they're doing a little bit with the tag division. Again, that very, very much remains to be seen. But they're at least planting seeds for that. And I think they deserve credit for that, man.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
I'm excited about this King of Pro Wrestling show, and I'm not even into it like and I'm just interested to see where things play out. So I think that's really cool.
That is the most fun part about these shows. Usually there is something that we just don't look at right now, that we don't have in mind, or a really good surprise that is going to lead us to King of Pro, to the Tokyo Dome then. Yeah. Okay, so we have couple of more talking points, Dylan, that are not as huge anymore as the NOAH and New Japan talking points. Stardom recently had a show that they uploaded on YouTube for free from Korakuen Hall. Once again, a great house for them. 1,639 officially sold out house for Saya Kamitani winning the New Japan Strong Women's Championship off of Asumi. Asumi, of course, had beat Kamitani in the 5-star Grand Prix in a great match. And this one really was a great match as well. Great back and forth, especially in the final 10 minutes, but also the beginning of the match was extremely strong with Asumi going all in the early parts of the match. There were multiple very close calls with the Star Crusher, multiple versions of the Star Crusher, the regular one, the spinning one, Asumi always coming back to the Asumi Sushi, almost winning the title. It was an extremely exciting main event here. They also had Hanako defeat Hina for the Future of Stardom title. It was a shorter match, but that match also had lots of big moves, and Hina kicking out of multiple big moves from Hanako until finally the spinning JP coaster nailed it for Hanako, winning the Future of Stardom title. And we had Kaori Ito teaming with Sari against Shuri and Tomaka Inaba in a very short match. The undercard wasn't as spectacular here. Good developments, though, in some ways. But the main event was really what this card was all about.
In my Patreon review, I recommended the 3-way 12-woman tag match, too.
It's pretty good, too. Yep.
I thought that was a ton of fun, honestly.
Yep.
And I like that it set up the Hazuki versus Koguma CMLL title match, too. And they're putting some stakes on that. Really quick watch, all action, like 9 minutes, 12 women. What do you want? What more do you want? It's a ton of fun. Check it out, people. Semi-main, I thought was almost as good as the main event, actually. Hanako and Hina, I thought was Hanako's best match she ever had in her life, sure. Pretty much. Yeah. Hina just totally killed it with this title reign. I think that she's really established herself as not just a future player going forward, but one of the best workers on the roster already. Her match with Sari was one of my favorite matches of the 5-star Grand Prix as well. So huge Hina fan right now. I think she's doing great work, and she's right up there with every bit as good as Rita and Hanan, and deserves the respect for that.
Yeah, she should be moving up very soon.
But I think she will. I think that they're going to do some big things with all 3 of the Judo sisters there. Main event, Okay, so I like this match. There were some things that I think could have been done a lot better, and I think it's definitely inferior to the tournament match, which I thought was a fantastic match. Um, I really don't like how one note Azumi's like big match style is. How many times did we see her go to the flip pile driver in this match? You did it off the floor. You did the spinning version. You did it off the top rope. It's like, man, somebody should be in the hospital with all of these flip pile drivers they've been taking, and yet they just kind of moved past them with no real substance. You know, all of the near falls were really off the Azumi Sushis. So I really wish that they had really paced this match out a lot better compared to what they did in the tournament, which I thought was, man, that was just a phenomenal, really no complaints type of match. And this one, I think, really worked for the crowd, and that's something I noticed on the whole show, too. The crowd was really into this show, and that's something that Stardom's been criticized for in the past, is that their fans are not as lively as certain other promotions. But I think they've really gotten past that now, and you see them rolling on all cylinders. So the main event mostly worked. I would give it more like a 3 3/4 star rating than like a 4 3/4, like a cage match has it as. So I thought it was like just short of great, maybe 4 stars if you want to be nice. I thought there was too much like one note spam from Azumi on her big moves.
Yeah, I understand that.
And there were some things that I think could have been done better even from Kamatani's side, even though I think she's great. And I like her a lot in her role. She like her charisma level is so strong. Funny thing is, when we were watching it, I watched the 5-star with my sister. This was her first time ever watching Stardom. And basically, during the Azumi and Kamatani quarterfinals match in the tournament, as soon as Kamatani came out, when she turned her around and showed her flag, she was like, she's winning. She's for sure main character energy. Like, who could ever beat this person? I'm pretty much just seeing Kamatani for the first time. And so, yeah, this was a really strong match. I wouldn't put it among her best, though. And still, though, what a brilliant decision to put this free on YouTube right after the first time we saw the terrestrial TV for Kamatani and Hanan. They made it so easy for fans who just saw her on those shows, those variety shows. Just log on. No, you don't even have to log on. Just go to YouTube and watch the video for free. You don't have to sign up for World. They made it super easy to get new fans, and that's something New Japan should probably take a page out of. I mean, they would have to have a star like her to do that, of course. But I think that they did a great job. Not just her being great, but they've been very brilliant about how they've marketed her to a lot of new fans. And that's led to great matches like this and great moments like we saw with her and Tom earlier in the year. And it feels like her run, the way they keep talking about going to the Dome, that feels like something that's going to be in the plans probably in the next year or two.
For sure happening.
And she's the perfect person to lead the charge.
Do you think they would do a double dome show with New Japan Pro Wrestling? January 4, January 5?
Well, it can't be worse than this year's version with AEW, to be fair.
That's a low bar to clear.
Yeah, so it can't possibly be worse than that. I think it's a good idea, honestly.
I would actually... I think it's an idea you could go with, and I think there will be a synergy effect with 2 shows being that close to each other. But if I was Bushi Road, I would put the Stardom show in the summer, and hopefully to have it established as a second big Bushi Road Tokyo Dome show each year. So you have the one Tokyo Dome show in January, and one Tokyo Dome show, say in July.
Yeah, that would be a great idea. I think that would be a good idea too. I think if it were me, my plan would be to do it in April. To kind of give a big spot, kind of like a rolling thing. Because if you do it in July, that's right around the time of G1, right around the time you're starting the 5-star, and I feel like that could be a little weird. Like you do the Dome and then you immediately go to the tournament. I don't know if that would work in their booking. They could always do it in November. Because you could have the anniversary of Big Egg with that, like Big Egg Universe, and if they do a Dome, there's going to be other companies involved. Like there's going to be people from all over the place, coming into that Dome show that want in on that for sure. So I think that might be a good idea too. But either way, like regardless if they did it November, July, April, or January, or Smarch.
Different possibilities on Smarch. Yes.
Yeah. Either way, they will have multiple companies working with it, and it will be a very cool thing to see when it happens.
Yeah. On the topic of crowd investment, and I noticed that on this show how incredibly over lots of women were when they were making their entrance. So
Yeah.
I think the crowd involvement is really, really strong right now with Stardom.
It shows you that the fans are into what they're doing. And I don't even think this was a great show overall. Like you said,
that was a pretty good show actually. Not a top show, but pretty good.
The 3 main matches are all worth checking out. Everything else is you could probably skip. I mean, I kind of like the Sari match, but Ito is there and she's kind of like ancient. Yeah. At this point.
She really is.
Yeah.
So next up for Stardom is another Kirkenhall show on October 11, and if I'm not mistaken, so far the only match that is set up for that show is the tag team title match, the Goddesses of Stardom Championship. Natsuko Tora and Ruaka defend against Ami Sourei and Lady C.
And they've built up Sourei and C. That they really built them up very well, and I think that's very good. When are they going to do the Momo challenge for Kamitani? Because I know that they announced that.
That is really interesting. They are going to do the challenge on November 3 at Stardom Crimson Nightmare.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my next talking point, actually, because it is in Ottawa. And they just, this couple of hours ago, released a poster for the December show, for the December Sumo Hall show. And Saya Kamitani is the only person that's on the poster.
They know who the Golden Goose is.
So much for the Momo challenge, eh?
Well, no, I knew that. That was, and I said that on the show, and even the secondary show I did with Sandre. That was my issue with her winning, is that she's not going to beat Kamitani for this belt, people. Like, I don't know who needs to hear this. At the end of the day, maybe it could set up some kind of... And in this case, they didn't even book it that strongly, really, because we have no turn, no real story heading into it other than she's just going for the title. The hope is that she turns after the match, pretty much.
Yeah, the seeds were planted here in this match with Asumi when Saya Kamitani showed respect to Asumi, and of course we also had her, like after the Tam Nakano match, breaking her heel character up.
Yeah.
And so that might be another slow indicator of Saya Kamitani eventually turning back to the face role that she had.
90% of the character work against her is that she's not committed to be a real heel.
Yeah.
That's every opponent, including Azumi, has said this about her, that she's not a real heel character, and that she needs to be more of a heel. Don't say you're a heel and then be a babyface on TV. It's like 90% of what everyone's saying. So, I mean, she's the top star. That feels like the natural destination for her. She's already beloved by the fans as it is. So I don't know. Like I'm sure people hope that Momo turn though. Like that hate would turn on Watanabe. But she just doesn't hit for me at that main event level right now. Pure heart, true heart of wrestling before. Yes, I love that, and she was great. And I loved her white belt run, but that was 6 years ago. And since then, she's always felt like never a main event player. Like she's always kind of pushed somewhat well, but it just doesn't fit for me, and that's why I wasn't really in love with her winning the tournament. But who knows? Maybe the match will be great. Maybe they can spin off to some amazing story after that. But to me, I personally think that Kamitani will face Sari in the year-end show.
Oh, you could do a triple title match, actually.
And I think that's where we're going. Like I think that's the only point of this, pretty much. And Sari's the best. She's not the star, but she's the main antagonist of Stardom because all the fans hate her so much.
And on top of that, you could pull off the turn for Saya Kamitani in that match as well.
Sari takes over Hate.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Like I haven't heard that thrown out before, but I think that's like honestly a really good idea. Like if they did that, and it would get Hate being heels again, because with Kamatani they're kind of also loved. Like so that would get a true heel faction back in it, and you could kind of parlay Sari's heat to other people now, like to other heels.
Totally.
That's a genius idea. Stringer. Like I 100% co-sign this, and I hope that it happens now.
If anyone is listening, you're welcome.
Yes, great idea from my man here.
Yes, so that is what we have for Stardom. The Goddesses of Stardom League is starting in November, running all the way through November 30. No teams announced yet, if I'm not mistaken. But it's the usual schedule. So that's for Stardom. On the Sendai girls side, they also had a show recently in Sendai, one more of these big shows in Sendai that I really am not in love with for the most time. These big shows in Sendai, they usually are not as good as the Tokyo ones they do. And if you look at the ratings on Cage Match, that is very well true. You had a very, very, very good main event with Shiro Hashimoto defeating Mika Iwata in 21-16, once again throwing Iwata back and positioning Shiro Hashimoto as the big end boss of the company. But other than that, I think the second best match of the show was the opening with FWC defeating Yomomono and Yurika Oka. Sari versus Manami was pretty good too, but all the other matches I really wasn't in love with. I was in love with the presentation of Lena Cross and Venny, though. They are a great tag team, and man, this Lena Cross, I am not sure what's holding her back. I heard about paperwork holding her back from moving to the US permanently, but she really has a lot that American companies would be looking out for. Then, of course, we had this wild six-man tag match in the semi-main with the Reiwa Ultimate Powers against Aja Kong and Ryo Mizunami. Wild stuff there, as usual, with Dashi Sako bringing her ladders, Ryo Mizunami bringing the tire. That's fine stuff. Yuna versus Rian was fine as well, I would say. And, of course, in the mid-card, we had shenanigans with Jago Yutoka, Unagi Sayaka against Sakura Hirota, Yu and Miyuki Takase. Unoffensive comedy. Yeah, fine show.
I feel like Takase is making her run as a comedy wrestler right now. For some reason in Sendai. But still, good stuff there. I was actually really impressed with I was impressed with Lena Cross too, don't get me wrong. I definitely agree with everything you said. I said it when I was doing the Rebuilding Ring of Honor show on Wrestle Update. She was somebody I would target if I ever run Ring of Honor. I think she could be a great person to bring in on an American show. I think she just stands out right away. I was also impressed with the other team on there, Rain and Spike. I love both of their looks. They just look really cool. They wrestled good enough. I didn't think it was any kind of great match or anything, but I could see you doing something with all four of these players here. I think they all have certain star power among them that I think you could really build around with any of the four, really. And I like all of them a lot. The main event was very good. Hashimoto and Iwata. Everything else you don't really need to watch. I personally thought the opener was super disappointing. On paper, that's a match that could challenge as a match of the year level match. And I thought it was hey, this is a 3-star level match to me. And still, you're probably right that it was the second best match on the show.
Yeah, not anything outstanding, definitely, no.
Yeah, Sari's match was pretty good too, but it wasn't great.
But I was also impressed with Raiden Leverkusen and Spike Nishimura. Nishimura also is in the Yajauma tournament, made it past the second round, and is in the semifinals now for that tournament. So she, much like Miyuki Takase, on commentary, they said that she is signed to Sendai Girls now, and that is a great addition to their roster. And if Lena Cross is leaving, I think there would be an open spot for Rain Leverkusen as well.
I think they're both people that should have a run there, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But it's it feels like I'm not sure how. I think Leverkusen is taller than Spike, right? Spike would be more for
Yes.
the juniors.
Yeah.
Leverkusen maybe for the heavyweight.
Spike is pretty tall though. They too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
we'll see.
said, they were pretty big, both of them. So
The
I like the cut of their gym.
tag run would be really good for them.
They should form a faction with Later Cross. I put them all together. For me. But watch the main event. Like as long as we're short of that show. It's very, very good. Hashimoto deserves credit as one of the best wrestlers going today, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was an incredible performance, definitely. And it they told a good story in the final minutes of the match that Mika Iwata escaped from Hashimoto's powerbomb. That was the move that put her away last time. She had one more power up, but then she made this big mistake to run the ropes and was caught by Hashimoto and her power slam to finish off the match. So that was done really, really well, I thought.
Yeah, no, everything about that match was really good to me. But I think Iwata's always like perfect in this role as like the challenger fighting an overpowered, usually Seahash. And I think she did a great job in it, but Hashimoto is just untouchable right now. Just a really great match, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, two more quick talking points. That one is the current run with the Bravegate Championship that Ryoya Tanaka is on, Dylan. He has had 5 defenses so far against Jun Masaoka, Masaki Mochizuki, Jackie Kamai, Ryo Fuda, and just recently, just last week, against Flamita. And the Flamita match, in my opinion, was the best match of this run so far. The Jackie Kamai match was really, really good as well. I think these matches, you could say they were on par, very same level, quality-wise. Flamita came in as the most dangerous challenger, though, for Tanaka in this run. Jackie Kamai, I think everybody was expecting him to lose the match. But Flamita really came close a lot of times in this match that they did in Kobe. Tanaka just had this. He came in with this great deal of confidence that you have when you know that you're on a great run, and Yuriya Tanaka, he's going to have another few defenses with this belt, I would say. He's only been champion for 84 days, but he's already had 5 defenses. I'm not sure how long they can go with this and how many challenges they can still come up with, considering the roster they have. It certainly feels like they are speedrunning through this run because they know that Ryo Tanaka is one of those guys that could be earmarked for brighter things on top of the cartel.
And it makes you wonder, maybe the all-important weight limit will come into play.
Yeah,
yes,
he's bulking up. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so this might be the last time we see him with this Bravegate, so they got to get what they can out of it while they can.
Yeah.
But I agree with all your points. This run rules. Honestly, like all of his matches have been so good. The Masaoka match, the Jackie match, the Flamita match.
The funny part about this run is that you could make the case that the Masaki Mochizuki match was the lowest quality match of them all.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that was a disappointing match. It wasn't terrible or anything, but you expect a big match from that, and it just didn't deliver. But I don't know what happened since that match. Like, because it felt like, I remember us talking about that afterwards, and I was saying, like, man, this title should be doing so much better. Like, when are they going to take a chance on it and make it mean more instead of doing these stupid third from the bottom matches that don't even go 10 minutes? Something switched then. I don't know who heard me say that, but ever since then, not only are these matches really good, they're always semi-main event, and then the main event for Flamita in there, and they're giving these guys time. I mean, not a ton of time, but 15, 16, 17 minutes, and he's delivering every single time. It feels like the title's getting elevated along with him, And I'm so happy to see it because it's something I've really been wanting for years now. And I missed it. I want the Brave Gate to be important again. And now we're finally seeing what it can be. And we're on the cusp of getting there. So I love the reign. The match with Hamida was awesome. Tanaka, man, he is just a fantastic champion right now. He really feels like among my favorite in any company, actually. Like the way things are going in terms of not just match quality, but the fact that he's gaining from this. We're seeing it in real time. We're seeing his growth. We're seeing the title's growth. I think it's just a really well done title reign. And I don't know how much longer it can go on for, but I hope they have a few more months with it, at least until the end of the year, because I think you could still get a few more really strong. If you get another 4 or 5 title matches out of this before the end of the year, it could be one of the all-time Brave Gate runs.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the goal, right? It is the goal to reposition the Brave Gate as what it used to be, and they chose just the right guy to pull it off with Tanaka.
100% agree. Like, great booking and great work that it's just all coming together to make a really strong title run.
Yeah. Let us quickly look at the upcoming card for October 8 in Kirkenhall. That's Wednesday. It's we have, of course, the main event with Madoka Kikuta making his first defense against Benkei. There should be no danger of him losing the title.
Yes.
Open the Triangle Gate title, Kai Ishin and Yoshiki Kato defend against Shun Skywalker, Homare, and Kazuma Kimura. Now it should be a great match too. Kimura's dude is this awesome too.
If Kikuta was in this, I'd have a heart attack. Probably. I'm like, what? they brought him in?
No.
I love that on the build up to this. Skywalker has already promised to knock Kimura out cold as they argue on Twitter right now, back and forth on there. Because Kimura's like, if you didn't want me to take the spotlight, why'd you bring me in the first place? And Skywalker just said, I'll knock you out on Twitter. So I love the build up. I don't know what's going to happen because I love the idea of this group, but it seems like they're already about to split Kimura off. I think that could be a fun storyline, though, too. Shun and Homari basically having auditions to be the third man in this group, and every one of them turning on Shun during their match. Like, he cannot stand being around this asshole. And that leads to multiple turns until they finally find the right fit. I think that could be a good, like, character arc for Shun, and Homari to a lesser extent. Have nobody want to team with this man because he's too insane and insufferable. But regardless, I do think that Gaja Dokuro is keeping the titles here, for sure.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they did not. Next up on that card is an interesting 6-man tag match as Love and Peace, Hio, Rita, and Jackie Kama take on the Mexican team of Luis Mante, Fight Panther, and Aero Panther. They were on the Dragon Gate show in April as they faced Arcangel Divino and Ultimo Maldito for the PWR Tag Team title back then. And I remember that match coming across really well. The best match on the show, actually, according to Cage Match. And now
that was one of the best matches of WrestleMania weekend, period.
Yes. And now Aero Panther and Fight Panther, they are in Japan. They already had a match this weekend that had them winning. Well, it was quote unquote only UT who took the fall, but still though they came in with a win. Panther defeated UT there, Fight Panther that is, and they are now apparently pushing them as a trio. Going for the trios titles makes sense for this trio. Wonder where Luis Mante will end up eventually, because he's been unaffiliated, really unaffiliated, for over a year now after the end of Big Hug. He has had some great chemistry with the Decourage team, and some people on Twitter have been campaigning for Luis Mante actually joining Decourage, Dylan.
They have a spot open. If it's not the worst idea. I kind of like this current gimmick of teaming with different Mexicans like all the time.
Yeah, good gimmick.
it worked for the Flamita and Bendito team, and I think this will work too because the Panther brothers are awesome, and I think this match is going to just be crazy good. I wish it was just them two versus Jackie and Rita, though. Like, that would be my preference. If that was just a tag match, I feel like that would explode to be an amazing match. With the trios, it still should be good, though. And like you said, if they go for the Triangle Gates, I think that's a good direction for Gajado Koro and also them. But I would also like to see them get a Twin Gate match somewhere into this, too, because them versus the Courage. Yeah. Maybe they should all join the Courage. Let's work this out. Panther Brothers and Monte joining the Courage, and now they're all together.
Yeah. Why not? It sounds like a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Team Mexico all the time.
You're right. You're right about that. Let's get these guys in. I mean, I don't know how long they're going to be in DG proper for, but I hope they get a good run.
Yeah. Next up, we have a match that could potentially set up the next challenger team for the Twin Gate title with Kota Minura and Jason Lee teaming against Susumu Yokosuka and Kagetora. Yokosuka and Kagetora, historically a great team, historically an underrated team, and them versus Daya and Yoshioka would rule.
It's time to go back to old reliable here.
Yeah.
Susumu and Kagetora. I want to see it. We've already seen Jason and Kota. Nothing against them at all. But it's now time to do this. Yeah, it's time to bring them back. And I hope that they do. They have a great run here. Because I know that they can deliver big.
3 more matches on this card. D-Courage, the trio teams against the trio of Natural Vibes. Of course, Yuki Yoshioka, Dragon Daya, and Oyoyo Tanaka against Strong Machine J and KZ and UT.
I think KZ should pin Tanaka and set up a title match.
Yeah, great idea. 8-man tag, Paradox, Yamato, Dragon Kid, BB Hulk, Naruki Doi against Masaki Mochizuki, Don Fuji, Takashi, and Punch Tominaga. Mochizuki not with his dojo because his dojo is fighting in the opener. Mochizuki Jr. and Akihiro Sahara against Ryo Fuda and Daiki Yanagiuchi. And Dylan, finally, it seems like that they are getting somewhat behind Ryo Fuda as a real member of this roster and not as a dude that comes in every now and then and drops out for the next couple of weeks. He has had the title challenge against Tanaka where he looked good. He has had a run where he looked good. And this one is going to be interesting because where does it leave Mochizuki Jr. with others making more moves than him, actually?
It's the thing I've complained about all year and will continue to complain about, it seems like. He's really, really on the back burner right now. I don't know why. I wish that he wasn't. We just saw them take a fall to Yanaguchi with his first ever win that he ever had. Yeah. So he's just really in a bad spot at the moment, and it feels like he's really not in the plans for anything going forward. But I love his wrestling. I love him as a performer, and I hope that they change their mind one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone who was in a very good place for a brief moment in time, actually, Dylan, was Katsuki Hirata in DDT. He was the KOD Openweight champion, and, he had his little run defeating Akito in a title match where Akito also scored a fall, but it was a special rule put in place there so that they both could score a win. Then he had the match with Yoshihiko, of course, at the Dramatic Infinity 2025 3-hour special show. A match which I loved. I thought it was a great way to give Katsuki Hirata a title match without having him face an opponent where it would really stretch anyone's imagination that Katsuki Hirata could pull off the win. Hirata pulled that off greatly with Yoshihiko. Loved that. And after that, of course, they had this great reveal of the dude who was helping out Yoshihiko in the ring. That was Yuki Ueno, who gave Hirata the gummy bears with the sleeve that indicates the right to challenge anywhere, anytime. What a great reveal that was. And of course, it was a very short title match that saw Ueno defeat Hirata. And as Ueno and Hirata were just trying to give the final speech here in Korakuen Hall, Kazuma Zumi came in and challenged and used his right to challenge anywhere, anytime contract. And Dylan, first off, this Hirata title run, like I said, was really done really well. And Katsuma Sumi, in recent months, really has been someone who quickly has gotten much, much better and quickly took some spots, even in some singles matches. He really excelled there. And so for him, it was a really good pat on the back that they said, okay, yeah, we're using you in this situation and we're giving you the unofficial main event spot here in Korakuen. Good stuff.
All of that was really well done, honestly. Like, I think they did a great job. The Yoshihiko match was a ton of fun. The reveal of Ueno was awesome. And even their match, even though it was short, it was actually like really perfect for what they were going for. And I thought it really emphasized Hirata, even though he lost. Like it was like the perfect Hirata loss in a lot of ways. The way he showed his spirit against Ueno there. So I really, really enjoyed all of that. And I think that now you've got things back on Ueno. You've got not just this match, but also the 6-man titles with Takechi and Tori as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it seems like we're really building some things around Ueno again, which is where things were at their best last year, pretty much. And it feels like we're getting back to that. So I thought all of this was really well done, and really good stuff, and a really good, well done story. Even though it was a short title reign in the grand scheme of things, I really feel like this Hirata champion arc got completed very well.
Me too.
And I like the Sumi coming in at the end too. Like, you got rid of this final right to cash in thing. You put a new guy over, even though he lost, he still looked like a main event guy against Ueno. And it was believable entirely. So I love his improvements. I love what they've done with him. I love what they've done with the title. So very good stuff here to end a very chaotic time period of DDT right now as we head into their biggest show of the year next month.
Absolutely. We're back to Yuki Ueno on top. And he's going to face Minoru Suzuki in potentially, of course, the main event of that show. A double title match with the Universal Championship on the line. What do you think about that decision?
Well, I'm never going to be excited about a Minoru Suzuki match, but it will happen.
It will happen.
And that's a fine win. If Ueno beats him, then I think that's a name that you at least... I might not like the match, but I think it's at least a name.
And it's going back to March of this year when Minoru Suzuki actually defeated Yuki Ueno for the Universal title. And we were thinking about who could actually dethrone Minoru Suzuki. And, well, the answer is going to be Yuki Ueno.
Yeah, it took all year to get there, but that makes perfect sense. Triple champion for Ueno, if that happens.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
I'm guessing he will set free the Universal title then to have a tournament for that. Crown a new guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
maybe they can do a match with him and Takechi.
Yeah.
Like he gives up the 6-man titles and fucks over Sonic Club. And then Takechi's like, hey, wait a minute, this is my first title. You can't just make me give it up. I think that would be like a really good storyline if they... I mean, he wasn't that heelish, though. Like in all of this, like Ueno.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. It's just an idea. Yeah, it's a good idea. We'll see what happens, yeah.
So, except for that, for the Ultimate Party 2025 on November 3, except for the just aforementioned match, we have Zack Sabre Jr. versus Chris Brooks, Konosuke Takeshita and Kaiser Takechi versus X and X. DDT Extreme Title 4-way Toy defense against Akito, Super Sister Dango Machine, and Kazuki Hira. Jun Akiyama, Shinya Aoki, and Yuya Kuroku. By the way, Aoki and Kuroku, very good singles match on the undercard on this show.
Man, Aoki's so good.
Yeah. They have the match against Tetsuya Endo, Hayata, and Yuta Miyawaki, NOAH team. And Sanshiro Takagi takes on Hinata Kasai, Jun Kasai's son. Yeah, good card.
Yeah, shit sounds like this is pretty much the best they could do, I would say, for this moment in time in DDT. So it should be a good show.
Absolutely, and I hope everybody listening thought this was a good show as well, Dylan. I enjoyed it getting back into mix with you again here. Is there anything else you wanna put over?
Just a lot of great things going on in wrestling right now. There are some things that I'm not a fan of course, but there's also a lot of good stuff too that we can't forget. You can't have it one way or the other. I hope everybody goes out and checks out some of the old Go matches. That's something that's not as talked about as much because obviously, like, the intrigue is where he'll go and what caused this and why did this happen. But he actually had a lot of really great matches in Noah. So I would really recommend to go check out his title run in 2020. Everybody points to, but he's done a lot of great things in both of his runs in Noah, in there too. So check out some of his matches with Sugiura. In there they had was great. The Kaito match where he won the title to start off his reign was really great too. Just matches with Nakajima as well, like teaming and against each other, all worth checking out. Go to me. Again, we didn't really talk about this when he left, but he should be considered one of the absolute faces of the promotion historically. Like, he's a legend in that company. Yes. And I think we should always acknowledge that. Best of luck to him wherever he goes, and hope everybody out there, like Striga said, hopefully you enjoyed the show. Very glad to have you back, to be able to do it with you again, and hopefully we can come back with some even better things in the near future.
Absolutely, man. So, everybody, thank you very much for listening to this one. This has been the Eastern Lariat. Goodbye.
Sayonara.